Remember our last conversation where it centered on the middleman being the problem, and let me explain the unavailability of easy access to foreign exchange, you said, prohibits a lot of purchasers from buying directly from the source as such because they don't have the foreign exchange to secure and procure the goods out of the original source. A middleman is going to step in, purchase it, and then they're going to have to deal with him, and that's where they're paying more. Is my recall accurate there?
That's just one of the reasons, really. That's just one of the reasons. Is financial charges for holding product for over a period of time from company to company, from supplier to Trinidad, based upon non-availability. I mean, the availability of the US is just one part. The reintroduction of the VAT is another. The what price they're getting it at, right? And you straining of foreign relationships to actually let them hold product for you over a period of time, which has finance charges on it, is the reality of it. I would be so bold to make a statement here. I mean, if you really have to watch the chain of contribution of what actually is contributing to the price of a product on the shelf for the consumer, I could break it up extremely easy here. It's not going to be as scientific as it should be to this point, but I'll tell you this: for every dollar a consumer spends at the shelf of the supermarket, you're watching an average of 20 to 25 cents being part of the markup or the margin, the markup on the product. You're going to have to actually take that now and take that 75. And I'll tell you this much: that 75 cents on the dollar goes right back to your supplier, and it goes right back to the government of Trinidad and Tobago. At the end of the day, if a product has to come in, it has to be taxed. That tax is 20 to 25% based upon food and food items. And then after, you have the VAT. And then you have your nuisance aspects of inefficiencies that you have to pay for its holding on by. So you're really watching like about 30 to 35 cents safely off the dollar of the consumer, actually hitting the pocket of the government straight, directly. Right?
Nothing. Okay. So essentially, you're saying that primarily the cost of food is not so much the profit margin expected by the supermarkets, but in fact the purchase of it and the cost in bringing it to the shelf.
Correct. Exactly. And the costs are actually there to actually bring it forward. Now, you had this survey recently, which we
I want to get to that survey because it's clear that you're at variance with it, and a couple of areas in there. Let me first of all ask you: are you essentially not subscribing to the information provided in that survey, in the sense that you're not accepting it, or are you accepting it? You, as head of the Supermarket Association, are these numbers incorrect?
These numbers are. Let's talk about the initiative first before the numbers.
Okay.
We applaud the initiative. The number one stakeholder of the Supermarket Association is members and is customers, our internal and external customers. The consumer is our main stakeholder in this entire thing. The fair competition that we bring, and the fact that we do not collude and we are actually there to compete with each other for the purpose of the consumer, shows that the consumer is the number one beneficiary in all that we do. That's number one. So any initiative from whatever body, as independent or within the government, that is about empowering the consumer, we are all for it. Okay? We are all for it. You make the choice based upon the decisions that you have to make. But let me tell you something. At least give us a shout every so often to say, fine, we want to compare these things here. Do you agree with the structure of this list? Do you agree with these contents? A couple of those items will skew on it, and skewed because you really can't really put a shop's performance based upon that one particular product. I mean, at the end of the day, that list showed us keenly that free market is alive and everybody is competing, and the prices are kept within a 50-cent area in most, right? I mean, the $5 and the $10 might jump out at the consumer, and you might take a look and say, wow, $3, wow. I mean, it's we had comments last week.
I saw some $14 and $15 too.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, we have to state that, okay, fine. Do you know? I mean, the cost of the business is ridiculous in the sense that you have to survive. Look at those big stores.
Mr. Yanus Ibrahim, let me just deal with this. Are you at all disquieted by a disparity that says one item, I think it was cheese, one item is $21, another one is $34, but you see that gap there? Are you?
Let me give you let me give you two instances. There was a comparison with meat. It was actually beef and it was actually pork. Okay, and it was stew. Was the variation on that list. they actually compared a frozen sauce versus a chilled sauce. They actually compared there, but they put it as one price. Those are two separate products. If it is you're bringing in frozen sides and you're cubing it, as opposed to supporting local and taking the fresh sides, which is at a higher cost. Yeah, because of its availability of spoilage and so on.
You were telling me that they have not had consultation with the Supermarket Association before deciding which products they're going to pull out and the authenticity of.
Before restarting this list, no, it was just started. I mean that is their prerogative. They can go right ahead and do that, you know. Yeah, you know, but what I'm saying is that if it is just, you have to compare apples and apples. You know, you don't compare stewed pork as in frozen and fresh. I mean, that actually compared for two sets of meats, which was a $5 to $15 disparity. But you have to compare apples and apples in that case if you're coming out that scientific and you want to give that level of competence and confidence to the decision of the consumer.
Respond to me, if you will, the question of market monopoly, which is to say, you know, you've got 5, 6 big boys who do all the import, and they actually can raise their prices almost with impunity. How do you respond to that? This is a perception.
That once again is a perception, because I mean they do come to us and ask us and tell us that these prices are going up. They give us fair share warning, you know, and the consumer has to react after. I think what we really have to look at is perception of consumer of what they're buying. Quality, you know, if it is that you're buying a melon here and it's good for you, or if it is that you're taking a tub of butter. Okay, and this is the underlying aspect of giving you here. If it is you take a tub of butter, you know, 10 years ago, it's 450 grams. The tub is the same size now. It's the exact same size. The cover may have gotten thicker, but you're buying 310 grams as opposed to 450 for the same. Okay? You have to understand that the prices of these commodities have gone up, but people are perceiving that they're buying the same amount. They're not. So that is another division of investigation for the purpose of educating the consumer of this is what's happening with the products that you purchase.
Yanus Ibrahim, my guest this morning. Yanus, I want to go quickly into the area of what you have, again, from your last visit to now, and I know the emphasis has been heightened because of the foreign exchange situation and the whole recession we're looking at, which is to explore local food. Our supermarkets are exploring all that is available, buying up all of the local produce as a first option as against importing, and equally along with that, are they paying what some say they are not prepared to pay competitive prices for the stuff they're getting from local manufacturers? Respond to that for me, please.
No, as it applies to support of the local, when it comes to manufacturing, I don't think it is that there's another industry that actually supports the manufacturing that much. Every single thing that's produced locally, as can be finally produced, is sold by us. You know, I mean, watching from cereals to snacks to so on and so forth. Now that realistically, Rennie, how far is that dollar going for Trinidad and Tobago? Even if it is we're saying that we're buying local from the local producers, you know, let's carry that further, right? Because your scratch product is still not local, so you're basically just supporting the money cycle. You're not building the nation. You're not making sure they're further existing off in self-sustenance. What we're willing to state here is this: okay, you want to come with a basket? Let's talk nutrition. Let's talk about value. Let's talk about longevity. Let's talk about wellness. Let's get the product right from the farm straight to the supermarket, and let us get the middleman out of the way if it is we have to, for a basket, for the purpose of feeding people properly in this nation. Nutrition. Yeah? Coming back to what you asked me about. Rennie, you could reiterate that point, the last one.
A couple of questions I ask you there. The last area we were covering, whether in fact we are prepared to pay the prices to make it worth the while of local producers to continue as they are. In other words, if you bought bulk from another source, from outside, you brought it in, you get it a lot cheaper. Because it is local, it's going to cost a little something different. Supermarkets, so which means, as against passing the little difference in cost to the consumer, the supermarkets may have to adjust their profit margin. But keeping in mind that this is all being done for the encouragement, the greater good, as it were. For the greater good of the nation, we stand side by side. If it is that we have to do that with respect to produce, fine. But remember this: the quality has to be good, and the consumer is the final arbitrator in what they choose. And if it is that the product would not stand up, we can't take it.
Yeah, so we have to develop it to the level that it can stand up to that level of scrutiny. The other aspect is the whole other ball game, consumerism, what we peg in, what we actually selling to our kids and ourselves with respect to marketing, and what type of product we're pushing. You know, what is the taste of the local person here right now? And I'll tell you, this is more foreign than local. You understand? So we have pushed that. We have pushed that over the years, you know, for the purpose of just getting the money ball going.
Shelf visibility and stuff like that is going to help go a long way. In addition to, of course, advertising on the media and getting the taste to change a little bit. This is
tremendously. This is a whole picture we're watching here.
Yes.
This is just not even a part.
Yes, a whole picture. Folks who are producing stuff locally, they have no problems getting on shelves if they meet.
They don't have a problem, and they also don't have a problem exporting it also. Yeah, they don't have a problem with it also. I mean, the product is good, but at the end of the day, if it is, we do put back more into our land, get more from our land, and get our scratch product out of there, so we can produce. We ain't gonna go nowhere.
What mechanism is there in your association to ensure that prices don't run crazy? I.e., there is some top and bottom that you keep prices within for items. Is that again a case that you leave it just up to the market, or is there an understanding within the organization?
But it is where moral suasion goes in every action. Yeah, we are met with these increases, and I mean sometimes the increases may come logically. It may come, you know, not like a thief in the night, but you know it's discussed.
I think the price schedule being put out by Trade and Industry is very useful, and if you say it does not get your full endorsement because no consultation has been done, has there been any overtures? Have there been any overtures made for consultation?
We have made ourselves available, and we are stating that we are available. We continually write and we continually meet.
AKA no.
Yes, we are.
No, AKA no, we have not been consulted.
That's right. However, Rennie, the last point you were stating, based upon the consumer, yeah, well, we endorse it. We endorse it, and what I would like to see it spread out even further. I would like to see it spread out even further based upon, you know, I mean, the basic needs that we have as a nation, as a people, which is not just food, but it is shelter and it is clothing also. I mean, the markups that you have out there for clothing is crazy. You understand? Shelter and other aspects. If it is that we're starting to look at and we're commenting upon, you know, the focus is really on the indigent and the people who can't afford and don't have that flexibility and don't have that flexible dollar or the credit card or any kind of credit. We really have to focus on coming together, focus on them, and making the right decision, and be fine about it.
It is 11 o'clock in the morning. We're talking to Yanus Ibrahim. He is the president of the Supermarket Association of Trinidad and Tobago. We've got to take a break for a moment, Yanus, and we'll be right back, okay? Listeners, thank you so much for joining us. Stay with me. We'll be right back.